This is Andrew at Vespa Portland.
This is Carrie from the Bubble Room.
This is Alicia at the historic Star Lake Inn in Auburn, Washington.
Hi, this is Dawn at Tucker's Place Bar in Soulard, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, this is Megan at Mother's Bistro and Bar in Portland.
This is Sarah at the Garden District Pub in New Orleans, Louisiana.
This is Courtney up at the Blinker Tavern in Kent, Washington.
This is Kurt at Lake Lanier Island's Legacy Resort in Beaufort, Georgia.
This is Joey at Flanagan's in Puyallup, Washington.
Hello from Jerry in New Orleans. Ghost tour guide from Haunted History Tours.
Hi, this is Katie at the Haunted Bridge Tender Tavern in Seaside, Oregon.
This is Jim. I'm at Harbor Lights in Tacoma, Washington. And you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on scooters in bars.
Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast that blends the modern scooter lifestyle with a twist of the paranormal over a cool cocktail. This independent podcast follows a group of modern Vespa riders in search of classic pubs, dive bars, and haunted taverns. This is not smart or safe, but it's really fun. As a disclaimer, we never encourage drinking and scooting and keep our intake to 1 drink per hour. Seriously. I've counted.
You should be counting.
Okay, welcome to Season 3, Episode 4 of Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars, the podcast. This one is called Postcard from Then.
We do have a Season 3, Episode 4?
Yeah.
It's been so long, I thought we shut it down.
Yeah, this is our year-end wrap-up. A lot like when people send out a Christmas card, they don't actually do it at Christmas. They do it at New Year's.
Oh.
So we waited till the year ended, and now we're doing our wrap-up.
It'd be nice if you let us know that.
To go.
So I wanted to say welcome to the crew because earlier today, Keith and Ike, right. And Pendominomo rode with us, and
it was so fitting that Ike left early.
He did. So now he's Ike. And Pendominomo is just a big chicken.
But he had a massage. That's bullshit.
It must have had a happy ending.
He should be wrapping up pretty soon right now.
So the old grizzly vet was also supposed to be in attendance, and Mr. Dick was going to sit in. So what happened?
You tell me.
You know what? You know what I got to say about Dick? Easy in, easy out, and he's out.
Yeah, there you go.
Well said, Lizard.
Hey, the good news is I never started this.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I am kidding you. So we're going to do our year. We're going to do our rides. We're going to do the people we've met and our favorite places in review. Did noise just come out of you? In 2018,
I'm haunted.
In this little wrap-up called A Postcard from Then.
So that's why it's called a postcard. We're doing a review?
We're going back, yeah.
So this is a new view?
Well,
I don't think we've done one of these.
What's a new view mean?
We've never done one of these.
We just finished a ride, though, and we went to a couple of good bars.
And we did. And just think about it. We survived the whole year of 2018. Who would have thunk that?
We were thinking we'd lose at least one. But we didn't. And before we roll into what is going to happen in this podcast, I want to talk a little bit about our social media. If you're not following us on Instagram, Twitter, or the Facebook, shame on you, please.
What about Siri? Don't you have, or whatever, Alexa? Something?
We do have Alexa. She's here.
Oh.
Yep.
She may answer right now that we said that. And we have nearly 2,000 people following us on the Facebook right now on our page, at Chasing Ghost Pod. Follow us, give us reviews, tell us stories. We've had a lot of engagement lately, and we really appreciate it.
And as the 8 of you who are loyal listeners know how much it means to Mark.
It's 18.
If you would just respond to something, please. Because otherwise we have to hear it.
It would make our lives a whole lot easier.
Okay, just so you're clear, we're the number 1 scooter podcast in the world.
Here we go.
That features ghosts and bars, just so you know.
This is Adam at the Canterbury Ale House in Capitol Hill, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So, guys, I'm on a cheat day.
What's a cheat day?
So well, we know what a cheat day is, but what's your cheat day?
This is my no alcohol January or my dry Jan.
Dry January. Why'd you do that?
Well, because we were going to do a ride today. We're going to do a podcast.
No. Why do you not? I know why you do a cheat day. I'm not stupid. Why do you do dry January? Are you worried about your liver?
I do it every year. I take January off. I'm in the boat business, and I do a big boat show. I do a lot of training, and I think it's just best that I don't drink, though I did today.
Please forgive him, Lord. Some of us are Catholic. We understand forgiveness.
We've also taken a few winter rides, ones where I'm really warm because aside from my heated gloves, which you all two have, and my neck gaiter, which makes all the difference.
And those are all normal accessories.
Right, but I have added a Tucana Urbano leg warmer unit.
Pussification. Go ahead.
To my Vespa 300 Super.
Boy, you just hugged that thing like you
Oh, man, this thing's amazing no matter what you fuckers say. It pulls the heat in from the radiator of my scooter, wraps it around my legs, it pulls right up to my chest, and it wraps me like a warm embrace.
And it takes that heat and blows it where?
Right into my leg and crotch area.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could imagine for a moment, for those of you who don't know a visual, take your overweight grandmother or great-grandmother and put a moo-moo on her.
Okay,
and that's what we've got
all right.
here.
I cannot recommend it with any more enthusiasm than I am right now.
Because he has black doesn't make it a badass. It's still a moo-moo.
Even Scooter and the Sticks blog guy does a whole blog just on this incredible scooter
but he's
invention.
like in Minnesota, don't you know?
He's
really
in Pennsylvania.
They're still cold.
Anyway, it is great for winter riding, and I'm going to buy one for all of you guys.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, I'm also well on my way.
I'll drag that shit on the street before I wear that.
Did I feed you drinks earlier? I'm well on my way to murdering out my scoot.
Well, that's right. You've made some adjustments.
Yes, our local scooter repair shop, Jason.
It's been hidden by your skirt.
Love Jason.
At Andy Amo Let's Go. There in Tacoma, installed my Scooter West provided black blade on my fender, black Speedo surround, black tail light base, and a black headlight surround with an eyebrow right over the top. My scooter, my 300, is looking badass.
Okay, your scooter is badass, but then you and the skirt, it's an equalizer.
It's the second time I've added the black stuff around that whole thing. Just want you to know the chrome is going away. And you don't know this, but I sat in the hospital with my wife last weekend for 13 hours feeling sorry for myself because it ruined my day.
Because the hospital didn't have a bar?
They didn't have a bar.
Only an IV, and that wasn't fast enough.
And she's going to be fine. She's got some vertigo, but I ended up spending about $300, and I have LED blacked out lights on the way from SIP Scooter Supply Store in Germany, arriving soon.
Ausgezeichnet.
Right, yeah. So it's going to look good. Lizard.
What? Yo. Is this what happens when you turn 60?
How is our 1965 P180-200 doing? I see you took a little ride the other day.
You know what? Every time I start that thing and take it for a ride, I just smile from ear to ear. I just can't. I can't get enough of that. That is one fun little scooter to ride.
Yeah, it's still living in your garage, right?
It's living in my warehouse.
How long have we owned that?
It's been about a year now.
Yeah,
we have. Owned
seems like
you've both had great rides.
Seems like I paid half, but I'm not on the title, and it lives at your house.
Okay, so what's up with Scooter News?
How about you, Mark?
We're not there yet.
Okay, Shelley, anything new with you?
No, I'm living
in
life.
Your scooter. Nothing?
No. Well, I did get a gaiter and some heated gloves for Christmas.
That is really nice. So this section is really just
not
about
chattering
me
anymore. Yeah, it is. Well, isn't it always about you?
Yeah.
Hey, this is Wayne at Twisted Fish in Seaside, Oregon, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So, can I ask a quick question?
Before
we review 2018, what are our highlights coming up here for 2019? We've got to have something to look forward to.
So here's the deal. My podcast procrastination has caused me to make a podcast resolution.
Oh.
So
because it's been about 5 months since we've had a podcast.
No, it hasn't. It's been 2 months.
It seems like.
So here are some of the things
Who's that voice?
That's the old grizzly vet joined us.
Nice.
He joined us from his home.
The Gregor.
He didn't ride the Honda. What do you call that Honda you ride? Ronda. He came over in his truck. But here we go. Here's what's happening. A tour and interview with Jeff Paradise, one of the owners of the pub and restaurant Engine House No. 9 in Tacoma, or E9, as it's called around here. Apparently there's paranormal activity aside from the fact that it's just a cool spot. So we get to interview him up in the attic.
Nice.
And he's going to tell us about what's happened around that
And he gave
that
you verbal
property.
confirmation on that?
He did, and he's a friend of yours, so you better pull that out.
I'm working on that.
Okay, then on March 9th, we're going to Portland. And we're going to have a fun discussion with Andrew Kalachi.
Who? How do you say that name?
Well, he sent it to me recorded. So let's call it Shalachi.
Kalaki.
Is he connected?
Andrew
Kalachi. Who can say it right?
Hey,
Who
you
can-
shop guys, quit fucking around. He's your boss.
He's the owner of Vespa Portland. Great guy. He's going to tell us where the scooter world is headed in the Northwest and other fun facts.
So he's got a scooter crystal ball of some sort?
He does. Well, he's got crystal balls. Did I mention that his attic is haunted?
So it was
at the
more than just
dealership?
one time in college.
You shouldn't
as
jump
you
off
referred to
loading
before.
docks then.
We'll also be talking to Steve Williams, author of the ever-popular blog Scooter and the Sticks, who's blaming us for causing him to now ask when visiting pubs in Pennsylvania and the surrounding historical areas, is this place haunted?
You know, you've been a Steve fan for a while.
No, he's a very good writer and a beautiful photographer, and we're happy to have him in our
And this
camp.
is the guy that wears a skirt like you do.
He does. He wrote a whole blog on it.
That's why they're connected, Wizard.
I'll tell you what, once you write it, you're going to be wearing a skirt too, bitch.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Okay.
Once you know, I don't want to say it.
Back to the crystal ball.
You know where I'm going.
So a Parkway Tavern friend and listener of the podcast, Philip Bradford, and he's also a Firkin Scooter Club member, has arranged a tour later in February or March, if we need to a haunted hall called McElvainy Hall. It's a famous, can you say it?
McElvainy?
Yeah, hall here in Tacoma that's being remodeled. And you know when old things are disturbed, they get touchy. We're really looking forward to that because normally we'd collect ghost stories and not
paranormally.
go on a ghost hunt. But this could be different. What?
You
He
meant
said
paranormally. Said
Right.
because normally.
Okay, you're trying to be clever. You're messing with me here.
I don't,
he's not
I don't have
trying.
many lines. I got to work what I got.
We also have an interview scheduled with Kevin O'Brien, an East Side entity that will share his experiences living in not one, but 2 haunted houses in Bellevue and the South Seattle neighborhoods. And I think he's also ridden a scooter.
Okay, what do you mean East Side entity? Is he not a human?
Well, I'm not sure.
Who is he to you?
He's a good friend of my brother's. He's a developer out of the East
okay.
Side. Yeah,
Bobby Chong.
Bobby John. And then we're lining up some great pubs in Seattle with the help
there's
of
more?
a friend of the podcast, Trista Robinson and Peter Andrzejewski. He's from SeattleBars.org.
Yeah,
We interviewed
remember
him
Peter,
at Jules Mays some time ago. She's also a fantastic photographer, amongst other things like knowing all things tiki. They've shared some great suggestions, including the Black Bottle in Seattle, Kel's Irish Pub, and several others. So got a lot to look forward to. Now, most importantly, let me finish.
No,
The Grit City podcast here in Tacoma, which is a very popular local podcast, has invited us to join them for a group podcast. And I haven't had my voice for weeks and weeks. It's just come back, but we're going to be joining Grit City
when it
podcast.
hits your tonsils.
Yes.
You've been going there again.
So also don't forget that the new Tacoma McMinimans at the Elks Club is opening with a hotel, theater, and of course a pub or 2 in April. So we'll be doing a full review of that place this spring.
Sounds like we'll be busy.
We have lots to unpack.
Okay.
For the spring riding season and the upcoming year. But that's not what this podcast's about.
No, this is a look back.
It's about last year, 2018, and all our favorite things.
This is Cindy at the Cliff House Restaurant in Tacoma, Washington, and you are listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So tell me, are we still doing scooter news?
No, this is a look back to 2018.
It's a podcast. We need to have the same.
We always do scooter news.
All right. Let's do scooter news.
Here we go.
I want to talk about the new genuine G400C.
What is that?
It's a retro-looking 400cc small motorcycle that is reminiscent of an old Honda CB. In fact, when I was in college, just so you know this.
Oh, here we go.
I rode a Honda 350.
Another sex story.
Four-cylinder called a 350 CBF. Very collectible now. And it came out in 1972, I think. And it was a really smooth, super small, four-cylinder, cool bike. I mean,
was it like the first mini multi or?
Yeah.
That was kind of your nickname in college.
It was the
wasn't
first mini multi.
They called
super
him
smooth
riding.
and super small.
It was the smallest capacity multi-cylinder motorcycle to ever enter into full-scale production. And maybe, as I look at this genuine 400, this fuel-injected low, cool exhaust, little beauty, it brings back memories.
I bet it does.
Like riding velvet.
It brings back quotes more than memories.
Okay, this 400 was rebadged from the MASH Roadster, according to Andrew at
Andrew Kalichi?
Kalachi. Roadster 400 in Europe, and has a classic styling blended with newer features like fuel injection, kick, and electric start, but no ABS or traction control like my Vespa.
Oh.
The engine is a single cylinder, not a four, 26 horsepower, fuel injected, 22 pounds of torque. Mark, you know what that means?
Yeah.
How about you, Greg?
You can pull stumps with it.
That's what
Not
it means.
your stump.
All right.
Off the rails.
So Top Speed Online gave their review, and here's what they said. From the laced wheels to the flange tank and bench seat, this machine is definitely on point with a classic look that is much more than skin-deep veneer. Ooh. Bikes like this defined the genre back in the day, and it seems that Genuine counts on a certain amount of nostalgia to drive sales, and who can blame them? After all, it does.
So what's the top speed?
So, 40. So check it out at genuinescooters.com. Oh, and our friends at Vespa Portland carry it as well.
Hey, this is Jake from Maiden, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars.
So when we're done with scooter news, what happens?
Well, I don't get to be here very often. What about some spooky news?
Spooky news! Okay, here's the deal. I found something that I thought you guys would like. A historic and haunted building in Freeport, Maine has been put on the market. It's an 8,000 square foot landmark called the Jameson Tavern. Also known as the Birthplace of Maine, is located across the street from the LL Bean's flagship store. It's a 240-year-old building, and it's a tavern and restaurant.
You know, our local newscast, King 5, uses LL Bean as their weather gear.
Right. It looks really good. They put that label right on there. Probably it's supplied to them at some sort of discount.
Jim Foreman approved, probably.
Okay, the building was originally built in 1779 as the home for Dr. John Angler Hyde and his family until they sold it in 1801 to Captain Jameson, who used the building as Jameson's Tavern. The Jameson Tavern building is known to be pretty haunted. The co-owner right now, Tom Hinks, said that several times when he was alone in the restaurant, he'd hear footsteps and loud bangs, as well as seeing the back door open and close on its own. Several employees and guests have seen the trail of a dress going around corners in the dining room, and I believe that is the ghost of a little girl named Emily. She's believed to have lived in the building in the 19th century when it was used as a home.
Really?
Right, Emily. So there are tons more stories here, but you can make them your own by buying this 240-year-old tavern for just $1.3 million.
Whoa!
And no need to pack when you visit. Just go across the street and get your clothes at llbean.com. Speaking of spooky news, Lizard, you said you had a little experience with Danny, my ghost attachment that's been following me around since the Robin Hood. What happened?
Well, you know, I did, but before we get to that, I think I have a proposition for a new segment. We've been asked to think about how we can enhance our podcast, and I think our new segment should be called "Don't Be a Dipshit."
Oh.
And so I'm thinking that there are my wife, who is all about kindness and doing super special things for everybody. My translation to that is "Don't be a dipshit." And I'm thinking that when us scooter riders, for instance, are cruising down the road and we get crotch rocket riders or Harley riders that look at us like we're knuckleheads or pussies,
less than.
Like I've been called by what's her name at
Mean Gene.
Mean Gene, yeah.
Joe's
I'm
place.
thinking that those guys are being dipshits, and in this era of being a kinder and gentler people, I think we should do. I would like to make a motion that we add a segment called "Don't Be a Dipshit"
and share our dipshit stories.
Yes, and
when people are assholes.
Yes, exactly, because there's plenty of dipshits out there that need to be called out.
Well, this is what the scooter community needs, Lizard.
But I think we're
a flagship.
So we don't want to be a closed community. We want to open it up to the Harley riders, the dual sport riders, the crotch rocker riders.
I just want to call out dipshits for being dipshits. and I think that we're all just out there having fun, right?
So what if we hold hands when we ride?
We're all just out there, as a friend of mine said, who was an avid Harley rider. We like the wind in our hair, and we're just out there doing our thing and having fun, and we shouldn't be judged. And
Lizard, it sounds like you had a bad experience. What happened?
Well, it all started on Pub Scoot 11. When we rolled, my first Pub Scoot, when we rolled into the town of Bakota.
Right.
Probably our fourth stop that day.
That's right.
And we rolled in, and I was a little bit nervous. And we pulled up.
It was our fifth stop.
And the bartender,
it was an hour and a half.
Her name is Mean Jean. And she went down the line and said, "What do you have?" "I'll have a whiskey. I'll have a PBR. I'll have a diet,
Coors Light."
Yeah, Coors Light. And then I ordered a Diet Coke. And she called me
pussy.
A fucking pussy. It scarred me for life.
We're still working through that.
But, Mean Gene, if you're still alive, you're not a dipshit.
No, Lonnie just learned he was the dipshit there.
But I just think everybody could be a little bit nicer.
I agree. And I think that if we're all up on two wheels and we're all riding together, we need to not be so judgmental. The thing is, we know people that have scooters and big bikes, and they love the fact that they can jump on their scooter and not gear up and do all the things they have to do, and it's an easy ride. And
well, there's just no leather involved.
Right.
That's always easier.
They swing both ways.
And the thing is, you do have to laugh sometimes when you see the guys dressed up like Halloween riding their Harleys, right?
In July.
They got all the stuff on. All right, we don't want to piss anyone off, but great point.
Well, just
let's talk about Danny. What happened?
Well,
before you go into it, the last podcast was called Danny's Back. This summer, I went to a haunted resort. I did a after hours session in the bar. I got an EVP from the spirit named Danny that was very clear and spoke to me. But it has been happening for months afterwards. You came in to sit down and do a session here in my garage, and some things happened.
Right, and so my cell phone, right during that podcast, was
while we were talking about Danny,
was doing all sorts of crazy things, and I know it's an iPhone 1, but it has it was flashing back and forth. It turned off. And it's never happened before.
Or since.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got to think it was a Danny thing.
And then part of my conversation was what my phone does in the early mornings when he wants attention. He makes pictures zoom in, zoom out, moves it around like somebody's swiping on my phone. And this is a kid that was only 16, 17 years old that got killed back in California back in the 90s. And it's crazy.
I think he's living with Steve Jobs.
I think it is crazy. And even though the coach is a non-believer, I'm inching that way. That was a weird thing for me.
It was weird. Yeah. So, well, thanks for sharing that. And
yeah, thanks, Lizard.
Yeah, we're all moving in one direction.
Trying to be nicer, asshole.
Well, there you go. We're going to move on to the next stuff.
Get along.
Hi, this is Dawn at Tucker's Place Bar in Soulard, St. Louis, Missouri, and you're listening to Chasing Ghosts on Scooters and Bars.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about 2018, but I'd like to just, before we get started, well, it's part of it.
So now we're finally getting to the review.
Right. It's not, yeah, we're going to do a little review, but at the end of the year, in the last couple of months, we did visit a town called Enumclaw, which is up near Mount Rainier, right?
Yep.
And we went to a place called the Ski Inn. This is a side street of a small town with the locals bar that's been there over 100 years.
A true locals bar, yes.
We went. I'm going to call this an epic fail because we walked in on a Sunday morning. We'd been to the Mint, which is another classic bar around the corner. We walked in, and we met a couple of people. We've talked about this. It's haunted. And
they confirmed it was haunted.
And then we set up a couple of different times to interview the people that were there.
She couldn't interview at that point. She said her mother was the better interview.
Right. So we came back.
You
we met the mother.
With her mother. You dragged me out of bed.
Right. We drove there.
Go up there at 10 o'clock at night.
That's better than dragging your mother out of bed.
Yeah. She was there too, but I said, I'll go. And all the way up there for nothing.
It was, we got there and they chickened out, and then they said they wanted the owner to approve it. So the owner approved them to interview with us. I had a scheduled interview set up. I was in my car in Seattle from Tacoma, heading to Enumclaw, and she sends me a text and says, probably, I'm not comfortable. Can you come on a Monday?
Yeah.
And that was my last interaction.
They were done. They're done.
She's hiding something.
Yeah, so the ski in
is the ski out.
All right. How about our New Year's ride? Any thoughts about our New Year's ride?
Well, it was supposed to be cold, but it wasn't because of some nice gear.
Yeah, we all wore our heated gloves. We wore our skirts. Well, I did.
Well, yeah.
And we ended up at the
Yard Arm.
Yard Arm in Des Moines, Washington. Yeah. We had a nice meal. We had some drinks. Keith picked up the tab, Pendominomo, which was really great. And then Dick bought one more round.
That's right.
He didn't show up today.
Lizards and watched the Huskies.
That's right. We watched the Huskies lose at the
to Ohio State. Yeah.
But let's talk about our favorite bars of 2018.
Oh boy.
There were a lot of them.
Where do we begin?
First of all, let's say this. How many bars do you think we went to in 2018? I would say about 110.
I'd drink to that.
You did.
I'm not going to argue.
So I've got my list down here, and I'm going to say that the Sandy Hut, Loretta's in South Park, Seattle, Sandy Hut in Portland, Kelly's Olympian in Portland, the Helvetia Tavern I liked.
Yeah.
The Burke in Portland was a big ride. The Firehouse in Buckley, the Tin Room in Burien, and the Skyline Tavern up in the hills over Portland I liked a lot. But those are just me, and I'm going to bring those back up as we have this discussion. Greg, you were with us on many of those.
The Burke was in Birkenfeld, though.
Right.
Yeah.
I particularly like that stop because we found an honest person, which you don't always find a truly honest person in America today with the whole social movement and the Me Too and all this stuff. And
the president.
Listen, I get it. It's all valid. But it was refreshing to hear Doug Bellingham.
He was at the Burke.
He lives across the street from the Burke. We saw him earlier. I thought he was Swiss because he had overalls and
shorts,
cut off shorts on. But he found his way to the bar 30 minutes later, and he took observations of us all. Well, and Mark Helgen, he pegged you as a 205-pound wrestler. Now, you might think based on his voice, who's gravelly, He's 6'5", but he's actually 5'6". Wrestled at 205, as Doug Bellingham recalled it. And we thought that to be
That is
very
so
funny
unfair,
and
and
true.
that is so untrue. First of all, when I wrestled in college at the University of Washington,
Oh, here we go.
I was at
Division
149, D1, by the way.
He was
And
D1.
I
He
now
was D1.
I'm 20 pounds heavier. I'm at 189. I'm on the program.
Judy one.
DV1. So there you go.
What I liked about Doug Bellingham was, if you remember, he gave me, because I was low on fuel, and he gave me some ethanol-free premium fuel.
We talked about that in the podcast.
And you took off like a bat out of hell.
So that was one of our, all agree. We all agree. It was one of our favorite stops.
Yeah.
Grizzly Vet, you feel the same way?
We quartered sandwiches.
I had a tie-in with him, too. I had many things in common with him. I
You
brought
did.
up stuff. And
Oh,
nailed
that's
it.
right. You nailed everybody he went to high school with.
There you go. Vernonia High, home of
That
the
was the
Loggers.
Burke. What was the name of that town?
It was Birkenfeld.
Birkenfeld. I mean, the town was no town. It was a bar and a farm
post
across the
office.
street.
Well, what do you need? He's got an airport at his house.
Yep. Bellingham Field.
Can we talk about the Sandy Hut?
What more can we say about the Sandy Hut?
It was the hut of huts.
That's got to be top 2 or 3, and since we've been doing our rides for the
And
last
we
10
have
years.
we have over 1,000 bars in our rides. Yeah. The Sandy Hut is that classic mid-century feel, and beautiful, warm, engaging bar servers and bartenders. Katie, I did a great photo shoot with her, and she's covered with ink and art, and she is beautiful and not interested in me whatsoever. That was kind of hurtful.
That's when you knew she didn't need glasses.
But, Katie, if you're listening, we've took up a collection, and we bought you a scooter, and you can ride with us anytime.
Yes, you can. What else, though? I like the Lowbrow.
That was a great stop.
In Portland. We can also talk about a ride that we had not long ago. We ended up in South Park, Seattle at Loretta's Northwesterner.
Oh, that was nice.
Where we had the Tavern Burger, but it was a great-looking bar. It's been there for 100 years, and their burger has been ranked number 4 in the United States for that late-night hungover or 2 a.m. burger.
It's outstanding.
I just can't believe they couldn't get number 3.
Right.
They'll get it. It ain't over. It ain't
A little
over.
more mayo, and they've got it.
We did a late-night run to Kelly's Olympian.
They had the bikes up top.
That was all
overhead.
the hanging motorcycles in Portland, Oregon.
All right.
A little bit of a younger person bar than maybe we are, but we fit right in. Nobody carved anything. But
we found a place to sit.
But we did find a place to sit in it, and we spent a lot of money on young people trying to buy them drinks and realize that old people are just like young people.
And I really appreciated it, guys. Thank you.
Let's talk about the Helvetia.
That was a good stop, too.
Well, the thing I like about that is the fact that we drove by it on day 1, and you guys panicked. For a moment.
that was the other McMinimans that we drove by.
Oh, the Helvetia.
Helvetia was the other direction.
Coming back. Well, they had nice waitress staff.
They did.
Helvetia.
They had good hiring
And
practices.
that's where we talked to the cook who had been there for many years.
Right. That was a cheeseburger and a flannel shirt.
We got
that was that story.
That's a Jimmy Buffett song.
The White Eagle, if you remember that was a ivy covered front,
stone brick building.
Beautiful, beautiful place, haunted, known to be haunted there in Portland. Lovely visit.
Well, you know what? The other thing too is, and I know it's not past history, but we might as well bring it up because it's happened before. We went on a ride today prior to this podcast.
We did,
and
we may have had a drink or
and Mark, you pulled the old classic. I forgot my wallet again.
Yes.
Which has happened several times already.
It's happened
so
one other time.
That's kind of a reoccurring theme here.
Yeah.
So
the thing is,
just remember, folks, when you
folks,
well, 3 of you, when he promises you a beer, it's just one.
Yes. If I have some money
Speaking
in my
of that,
pocket.
how did the visit go in Portland? You recall that?
No. Okay, let's talk about our favorite
Is anybody
bartenders.
out there?
Now, last year alone, we went to over 100 bars. How many bartenders do you remember from those visits?
Wow.
Well, remember Buckley, because we go there every other weekend.
No, we don't. We've been there twice,
Yes,
maybe
Janelle.
3 times this year, but Janelle's on my list.
And Katie.
Katie at the Sandy Hut.
And Jordan.
Jordan at the Sandy Hut.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There was a bartender in St. Louis. I went to a bar in St. Louis in this little brick part of town there. I went in there, had a lunch with a group of guys, went to leave, and she dropped her top for me. So she's one of my favorites.
Wow. That'll do it.
Mean Jean.
Mean Jean.
That was 2018, but
Doesn't matter.
That's still top. She's top 2.
Yeah, she's great. What else? How about you? Those are mine.
Well, you know what? Those are some of mine too. Katie and Jordan from the Sandy Hut are 2 of our favorites for sure.
And they work well together.
Yeah,
that was no question.
Okay, so what places were your favorite? Forget the bars, but what about Highway 52?
I like the Chicken Stop.
Chicken Stop?
I think it was at the end of Highway 52, meeting 6.
Oh,
or 26.
That convenience store where we were
why'd
able
you
to
say
buy
Chicken
a beer
Stop?
Because they had
and drink it outside.
They had cocks outside.
Oh, there were chickens hanging around. I thought you had
reminded me of Sacramento.
We had fried chicken.
No.
Well, that's where if you want some, that's where they get them. Yeah, that was a good stop. The deck, Greg, you remember?
Yes, there were chickens. And there was a spring in the road.
Yes, very clever. Thank you, Greg. How about Cannon Beach? The young guy serving us drinks. Well, we're out of this or that. Till we said, well, how about vodka?
Oh, that's right.
Well, we got plenty of vodka.
It was south of Cannon Beach.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, His
name was Marshall.
You want drinks? We've got those. I just read the billboard. That's all I saw.
How about Old Town Burien? How about the tin room?
The tin room in Burien is
great bar.
Absolutely one of my favorites, but it's in my hometown too.
The other one I liked was the one where you walked back through the restaurant, the cafe.
In Seaside?
No, it was in Oregon, Portland. It was the something cafe, and in the back is they had the Spanish coffee.
Oh, Huber's.
Right.
Huber's.
Yeah.
Huber's. Yeah,
Cafe.
yeah.
I like that.
There's a video on our website at Chasing Ghost Pod on your Facebook page. Over 2,000 people like it. Why don't you take a look at it? You can see them make one of those right now.
When I get into social media, I'll take a look at it.
Okay, so we also collected a lot of scary stories. What was your favorite spooky story you heard in 2018?
Does that answer your question, whether we believe or not? Why don't you tell us your favorite spooky story?
Okay.
Pregnant pause.
So we've been a little light on the spooky news. No ghost stories. We drank and we rode, though. You got to give us credit for that. So maybe there's only 2 constants in your world. Still working on the ghosts.
Yeah, right. So how about Danny that haunted me at the Robin Hood Resort? He did.
Okay, are we doing Danny again?
Well, he spoke to me. I mean, I picked up an EVP. He said words on this recorder that we're recording this podcast on. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, we've heard this before.
Okay. What was your favorite moment of 2018 on all the rides you've done as a group? We've had 3 people, 4 people, 7 people. What was your favorite moment in 2018? Doesn't have to be our Portland ride. Doesn't have to be anything. But what was it?
I think the Oregon State Trooper asking us if we want to die. Do you want to die?
Oh, that's right.
That was a good
There
one.
was that, too.
That was a good moment.
Sobering experience.
Lizard?
Well, I think mine was visiting Portland Vespa and taking you back up into the warehouse where Andrew Ciccolini scared the hell out of you.
Chihuly.
Kalachi. Ciccolini.
Love you, Andrew. But I love those guys, and they should be part of our group.
Yeah, how about you, Mark?
I actually like the discovery of the Sandy Hut when the Lizard and I went down there scouting.
Yeah, you spent the afternoon there.
We spent a little more time than we should have. We knew that was a hit. And something to look forward to.
So no comments about Keith at the trash can?
Well, without video footage, what
Keith?
is there?
Oh, well, he's getting a massage right now. So there it is. There are some of the things that happened on our scoot rides.
And we've left a few things out.
The ones we can't talk about. Lizard, Shelley, Grizzly Vet, thank you for chatting it out.
Thanks for letting me sit here.
Today, you guys as co-hosts, Greg as an observer and an occasional commenter, and mostly a big thank you for listening to our little passion project about scooters, ghosts, and bars. And thanks to Weeknights for original music. Until next time, keep the rubber side down, support your local bartenders and servers by over-tipping, and this is Copyright by Chasing Ghosts on Scooters in Bars 2019.